Shalom. I want to give all the praise and all the glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai Bahashem, Ha Rakah Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. Also, I want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing this truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, alright? So, I woke up and I was thinking I want to go in on some prophecy. I said I should do 2nd Esdras 15. And I sat down, I opened my Apocrypha, and it opened right up to 2nd Esdras 15. So I'm going to go ahead and just run with the Spirit, alright? This is 2nd Esdras 15, and the first verse it says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith Yahweh." Alright? So, see, there's another reason why I did it. Because why? Because Yahweh put it in my mouth. Alright? He put these words in my mouth. And we're prophesying. You see all the things that are happening in this earth, man. Babylon the Great is being plagued, you know. One of the first plagues is the prophets. Now you have the pestilence, which would be that Crown Vic. You know, the Crown Vic that was making everybody sick. They had to lock the cities down because of the Crown Vic, right? And now you're going to see famines, all right? And these are all things that were said that were going to happen before the coming of Yahushai, all right? Verse 2, "And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true," all right? So the scriptures and the prophecies in the Bible are faithful and true, right? People will say, "Oh, I don't believe this. I don't think the Bible's real. I believe some of it, but not all of it." You know what I mean? But the thing is you have to tell yourself, well, if you only believe some of it, then why have some of these prophecies already came true? All right, slavery, that was in the Bible, prophesied in the Bible, that our people would lose their heritage, forget who they are. And now these end time prophecies are coming to pass. All right, they're showing themselves. All right, like it tells you in Habakkuk. Let's go there real quick. Habakkuk. 2 and he told Habakkuk the same thing he told Esdras, right? He says, "And Yahweh answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it." So he's always telling his prophets, write this down, make it plain on paper. "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." All right? Talking about the end times, right? And these prophecies are speaking, and they're speaking loud and clear. So let's get verse 3. "Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee, and that speak against thee." See, so we're not supposed to go out there when we teach and worry about what these heathen and what these 2/3 are saying or yelling at us, or we don't have to fear them, because Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is with us. All right, he's with us, and we're going to be out there doing the work, prophesying, the things that are about to happen, right? The things that are happening in these last days. You see all of the wickedness being fulfilled You read Matthew chapter 24, it speaks on all these signs that would happen when Yahweh Shai would return. Verse 4. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. See, if you don't believe this truth, you don't believe what the prophets are saying, we don't give a damn. You're going to die in your unfaithfulness. You don't believe, you're still going to die. It don't matter. Verse 5. Behold, saith Yahweh, I will bring plagues upon the world. The sword, famine, death, and destruction. Alright? So, all of these things are coming. They're coming to America. Alright? They're coming to Babylon the Great. Plagues. One of the plagues is the prophets. We're a plague to this place. Alright? Another plague is the COVID. Crown Vic, right? That's pestilence. It says the sword, famine, death, and destruction. So the sword is going to be that ultimate plague, which is going to be those thermonuclear fire, the missiles. Right? You have all these different nations testing their nuclear missiles right now. You know, they have parades and they show off their missiles in their parades. You know, braggadocious spirits, you know. So Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai stirring up all these nations and stirring up the people, and he stirred up the prophets. He woke us up, right? We're out here prophesying to the people. Let me see. Where am I at? You know, I want to go and just look at the definition of the word plague. It says, a contagious bacterial disease characterized by fever and delirium, typically with the formation of buboes, or the bubonic plague, and sometimes infection of the lungs. Okay, so exactly that's what that Crown Vic was, man. It attacked your lungs. So that was literally directly a plague by definition. And you look at it as a verb, that was the noun definition. If you look at it as the verb, plague means cause continual trouble or distress to. Alright? So what are the prophets? We're a continual distress to the elite. We're continual trouble for the heathen, right? We're troubling the heathen because when they come to the camps and they hear our message, which we bring our message right out of the Bible, the scriptures, they become troubled, right? Other words that are similar to plague: afflict, all right? Torture, torment, trouble, right? So it says in the scriptures that the prophets would torment. It says that we would torment them. Let me find that verse. It's in Revelation. Actually, I'm going to move on from that because I didn't find the one I wanted, but let's keep reading. It says, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Alright, so yeah, there's wickedness all over this earth, as you can see, you know. Look around, the women are out of order. Divorce rates are always increasing, right? You know, you got adultery happen. You got people just are out of their minds, man. This place is fucking crazy. You know, and that's that wickedness exceedingly polluting the earth. It says, therefore saith Yahweh, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. See, so you might not think the prophets are righteous. You might look at us as wicked or bad men because we're telling you the truth. You know, you don't want to hear the things we say. But right here it says the souls of the just complain continually. That's why when we go out in the streets, what are we doing? We're sighing and crying continually. We're complaining about this place. We hate this place. We're sick of it, man. We're sick of our woman being out of order. We're sick of our, our affliction here in Babylon. Which through the Spirit, we always tell you that the word America, it means bitter in Spanish, amargo, which it was named after Amerigo Vespucci. So I looked into his name, and that name Amerigo Vespucci, which America was named after, it literally means bitter sting. All right, like a sting from a wasp or a bee, because America means bitter. All right, and then his last name was his name was Amerigo Vespucci. Vespucci means wasp. All right, and what's a wasp notorious for? A sting. All right, so literally this place, when you look at it, this is our bitter sting. Right, we're afflicted here. Everything's spiritual. And therefore, saith Yahweh, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. And who's that talking about? That's talking about the Israelites. Right? He's going to avenge us. Because we don't have the power to save ourselves here in Babylon, America. We don't have the blessing that Esau has. He's got the sword as his blessing. That's why his military is so powerful. You see, that's why he's got the technology to destroy a city with a nuclear missile. So we have to. The only way we can be we can have liberty is when Yahweh Bashem Yahushai visits the earth. Okay. It says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. And remember, America is spiritual Egypt. And our people, hey, we're continually in all the captivities we've been in, slaveries we've been in, we're continually led as a flock to the slaughter. Because when you're in captivity, you grow up with a heathen mindset. And now you're cursed because you don't know your true heritage. You don't know your true, traditions. You don't even know your true power, your true God, when you brought up in captivity. But Yahweh Bashem Yashai says, I will suffer them now to dwell. I will not suffer them to dwell in Egypt. Meaning he's going to have mercy. Him bringing nuclear fire, because he's the one who's going to put the spirit on Esau to start shooting missiles and destroy this place, right? But him putting that spirit on Esau is actually mercy for us. The heathen, the 2/3, they're going to look at that as oh my God, it's bad, it's a bad thing. Well, it is a bad thing for them, but for the chosen, for the elect, it's actually mercy, because that's when our salvation comes. Because when in the midst of all those nuclear missiles being shot, well, guess what? We have salvation. That's when you know if you're saved or not. You go up in what you would call a UFO, which is a chariot of Yahweh, If you go up in one of those things, you can finally say you're saved. Not like these Christians talking about they were saved in 2007. No, that's not what it is. verse 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. So that shows you he's going to bring us out with a mighty hand, which I was just speaking on, is those chariots. All right? Yahweh Shai. That's his right hand man, right? That's his son. But he's saying he's going to bring his people, which are the Israelites, these so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. He's going to bring you out with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt, meaning destroy Egypt. He's going to destroy it with plagues, which, like I say, one of the first plagues are the prophets. And then it says, as before, and will destroy all of the land thereof. Right? So it shows you two clues that this ain't talking about ancient Egypt. Because it says, I will smite Egypt with plagues as before. Right? So this is talking about back then he did it. Now he's going to do it again in spiritual Egypt. All right? And will destroy all the land thereof. So ancient Egypt didn't get destroyed. It's still there. But this place is going to. Spiritual Egypt will get destroyed. And really, Egypt, that word just means slavery. It means bondage, all right? Because ancient Egypt, the original name that it was called by was Mizraim. It wasn't until the Greeks that it was called Egypt, okay? The Ptolemaic dynasty, all right? You got to look into the history. But that's when they started calling that place Egypt, which it just means slavery. Why? Because our people were slaves in Egypt first. And now we're slaves here, but you can't tell a 2/3 he's in slavery. They don't get that, right? They don't understand that. They think they're free. But to prove that you're in slavery is when the Crown Vic came, what they do? They locked everybody in their homes. Said you couldn't come out. You had curfews. So if you're free, then that can't happen to you. But if you're a slave, then yeah, that's what it is. Not only that, your social security number. That's a number that attaches you to this to slavery. All right, captivity. It says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and a punishment that Yahweh shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fall through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. All right? What's that fearful constellation? It's like the stars falling from the sky, but it's actually missiles. They're going to look like stars falling from the sky. Verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. All right? So you're going to have chaos when this is happening, right? That's why you see what's happening in the news. You got wars, rumors of wars. All of these things are coming to pass, right? For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. See? Sedition among men, it means chaos. It means your neighbor, he's going to come and rob your ass because he doesn't have nothing to eat. He's starving. He's hungry. Let me read a sedition definition. It says, to conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. All right, so that sedition is going into anarchy, chaos, right? They're not gonna care about the laws. They're not gonna care about the politicians, the president. They're not going to care about the police, you know. It's going to be chaos. See? Verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. All right? And that's already happened, right? When the Crown Vic hit, you weren't even able to leave the country. All right? But see, this is going to get even worse now here in this near future when they enforce that CHIP. You can't leave a state line without, you can't do anything with that CHIP soon, right? When they start enforcing that, you ain't gonna be able to leave from one city to the next. For because of their pride the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. All right, we're not talking about women being afraid. We're talking about men are going to be afraid. Afraid for what? Afraid for their lives. Afraid for their families. Afraid that their kids aren't going to make it because they don't have food. Right? We read about the famine. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right, and this is really going right into Jacob's trouble, right? Jeremiah 30:7. Your neighbor's going to come and rob your ass, according to the Bible, and you can see it. You know, Joe Biden just spoke on a food crisis, right? He said the food crisis are real. And it's a self-induced food crisis. You know, well, it's Yahweh Bashem Yashai who's, it's his will, but he's the one putting his spirit on these Edomites and these powers that be to starve your ass. All right, Bill Gates, he just bought a bunch of farming land, right? Because they want to control all the farming land. You know, there's stories of you know, where they're making farmers destroy the food, the crops that they made, that they grew. Why? Because this is all crafty counsel against the people, you know, and really it's against the Israelites, but you Edomites and you heathen nations, you're just caught in the crossfire, okay? Because your government doesn't give a shit about you either. But the ones they truly hate are the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, verse 20. Behold, saith Yahweh, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, meaning to respect me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the east, from the south, from the east, and Libanus, to turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them. See? So it's Yahweh who's stirring up all these nations, okay? And it says, like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also, and recompense in their bosom. Thus saith Yahweh. So he's gonna, Yahweh's gonna stir all the nations up against each other. And it's an act of vengeance on behalf of his people, the Israelites. So at the end of the day, you know, you 2/3, you dumbass 2/3, you think this is all bad stuff that's happening. You get mad when the prophets say we're praying for the destruction to come, we're praying for the end to come. But at the end of the day, you got to understand Yahweh Bashem Yashai is doing all of this for us, right? Because the 2/3 can't look into the future and say, oh, I'm going to be set free, I'm going to have salvation, you know, I'm going to inherit the kingdom. That's too much for a 2/3. You're too busy trying to hang on to Egypt, hang on to Babylon, all right? You don't want to leave Babylon. You don't want to leave Babylon. You don't want to come out of Babylon like the Lord commands us to do in Revelations, right? Let's see, let's get that. Let's get it. Revelation 18:4, it says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues." So you spiritually, you have to come out of Babylon, and you got to leave this place behind spiritually. In your mind, you got to be like, fuck this place. You know, the prophets are the first to do it. Once we were introduced to the truth, the Spirit started working with us, and we said, you know what, I'm leaving this place spiritually. I'm not going to be doing no more heathen holidays. I'm not going to be eating no more abominations, you know, that Babylon offers you to eat here, you know. We're coming out of her spiritually. Why? So we don't want to partake of her sins, all right? We don't want to receive of her plagues. You know, we don't want to accept homosexuality. We don't want to accept transgenderism, you know? And because we're doing that, you know, we're coming out of Babylon, coming out of her, my people. Her is America. Receive that, and that ye receive not of her plagues. So guess what? The ones who are able to spiritually leave this place, we're not going to receive the plagues that these other people receive, that we're reading about in Esdras. See? We're not going to receive of these plagues. Lord's will, I'm in that number, you know? But we have to be with confidence, because we say, if it ain't us, who is it? We're the ones with the Spirit to teach this truth. We're the ones who have a fervent desire to continually push out this vibration of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right? So if it's not us, who is it? All right? 2nd Ezra 15, and I'm at verse 22. Let me see. Well, I'll read 22 and then I'm going to jump down. Well, I'll read it both. It says, "My right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth." Talk about you Edomites. Yahweh Shem Yashai is going to fuck you up. But guess what? Judgment starts out in the house of God, the house of Yahweh. Tells you that in 1 Peter 4:17. It says, verse 23, "The fire is gone forth from his wrath, and hath consumed the foundations of the earth, and the sinners like the straw that is kindled. Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, said Yahweh." So woe means destruction, all right? Let's jump down to 35. It says, "They shall smite one another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own star, and the blood shall and the blood shall be from the sword unto the belly." All right? What are those stars falling from earth? That's a metaphor for missiles falling from to the earth. Let's go. Verse 37. "And there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon the earth, and they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them." When these missiles start getting shot out, people are going to freak out, man. You know, there's movies where they show you the missiles, you know, and they dramatize it, right? There's a couple movies I saw where, you know, Americans are in the situation where they're getting text messages saying that missiles have been shot to their city, and everyone's freaking out, right? Everyone's trying to call their mom, their kids, their dad. I love you. I love you. Just want to tell you I love you, because they know the missiles is coming, you know. But the men of the Lord, you see, we have to have that faith that, hey, when we get that text says a missile's coming to our city, man, it's gonna be a fearful thing for us as well. But guess what? We have hope, because the scripture says that he's gonna save us scarcely. Let me get that real quick. Meaning, and the word scarcely means in the nick of time, at the last moment. Let's get it. It's in 1 Peter 4 and 18. It says, and if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? All right. And when you look into that word scarcely, it literally means in the nick of time, or at the last moment. So when we going up in those chariots, that missile's gonna come. You're gonna be like, oh shit, we're gonna die. And then in the nick of time, at the last moment, you go up in one of them chariots, saves you, and then you can say you're saved. Not like the Christians who will say they're already saved, but they were saved in 2002. No, that ain't it, Christians. Y'all don't know the scriptures. Well, let's get to 40. Second Ezra 15 and 40. The great and mighty clouds shall be lifted up full of wrath, and the star that they may make all the earth afraid, and them that dwell therein, and they shall pour out over every high and eminent place an horrible star. Those clouds are those chariots. That's another word for the chariot, the so-called UFO. To prove that, you just got to go to Psalms 104 and 3. I'm just going to read. Well, I'll read. It says, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters. And the chamber that it's coming out is the chamber of that UFO, what you call a UFO. Alright, you know how the beams come out of those chariots, the UFOs, they have a beam. This is what it's talking about. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. Alright? Who maketh his angels spirits, his ministers a flaming fire. So that cloud is that chariot, alright, like we just read. So when you go back to 2 Ezra 15, where are we at? At 40. That's what cloud it's talking about. The great and the mighty clouds shall be puffed up, full of wrath. See? Because why? Let's go. Because Yahushua is coming back for war. He's coming back for destruction. He's coming back with a sword. Matthew 10:34. This is Yahushua talking. Think not that I have come to send peace on the earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. Alright? So Yahushua is coming on those chariots, the clouds, which is a metaphor, to bring destruction and war. And that's what that sword is. Go back to 2 Ezra 15 and 41. It says, fire and hail and flying swords and many waters, that all fields may be full, and all rivers with the abundance of great waters. And that's the fire and hail and flying swords. What's a flying sword? A missile. Alright? And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees of the wood, grass of the meadows, and their corn. Meaning everything's going to be destroyed by those missiles. And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon and make her afraid. Ooh. Babylon's going to be afraid, man. All the people here. You see? That movie, Book of Eli. That's like a post-apocalyptic movie And that's what it is, man. Verse 44. They shall come to her and besiege her, the star and all wrath they pour out upon her. Then shall the dust and the smoke go up into heaven, and all they that be about her shall bewail her. See, so it's going to be a destruction like no other, man. Verse 45. And they that remain under her shall do service unto them that have put her in fear. And thou, Asia, and thou that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person, woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, and they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. And that's going into Asia, which is basically Russia and China, right? That's in Asia. Both those countries are in Asia. And what's to say about Asia? That they, let me see, you've made yourself like unto her, right? Because you've taken on the whoredoms of Babylon. You so-called Chinese, you so-called Russians, right? That's why you could find McDonald's in both those countries, right? And now they're shutting down all those things, right? Because of the war in Ukraine and in Russia. But those countries, they all follow the beat to the drum of Babylon America, you know. That's why yeah, they're gonna be shooting missiles at Babylon, but for all these years they've become whores like Babylon, right? You got like these internet things like TikTok, and I don't know. Yeah, I'll use TikTok as the example. But you got Chinese whores, you got Russian whores shaking their ass on the TikTok, you know, which TikTok goes in a time, right? That app is here only to show you, hey, TikTok is showing that there's, you know, limited time to this before these plagues, before this destruction comes, right? All these countries commit whoredoms with Babylon the Great. It says, thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions, therefore saith Yahweh. See, the internet, that's an invention. All these countries follow suit. All these countries become whores just like Babylon. That's why they all have to be destroyed, and that's why there's going to be the real new world order is going to be when Yahweh Hashem Yahushua visits the earth and he sets up the Israelites as the dominion, all right? And we are going to have the power, all right? The next superpower is not going to be no damn China, all right? That's a lie. It says, verse 49, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, the sword, pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower when the heat shall arise that is sent over thee. See, so right now they call America the beautiful, right? It's like, you know, the flower he compares it to, which is a beautiful flower until you put a beautiful flower in a desert with no water, no nourishment, and it's going to wither away. That's what he compares Babylon the Great to, which is America. Let me jump down to verse 57. Let's jump to 57. It says, because I'm running out of time. It says, thy children shall die of hunger, and thou shalt fall through the sword. Thy cities shall be broken down, and all thine shall perish with the sword in the field. See, so your children are going to die of hunger. And Joe Biden just told you in the news last week that the food crisis is going to be real. All right. One of the brothers was bringing out that his boss had went on vacation, and he went east, and he said that while he was driving, he stopped at Walmart's, and he had to stop at like 6 different Walmarts because all of the Walmarts were empty. You know, and you look on the internet, you can see in China that their grocery stores are empty. People are acting crazy in these places. Russia, Ukraine. You know, Russia, I saw a video last night on the internet was showing a grocery store in Russia, and there was no food. The produce was empty. The shelves were empty. You know, people were freaking out. And that's the next place is going to be this whore Babylon that's going to receive those plagues. See? So, you know, if you ain't right with Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man, I don't know what to tell you. If you're not repenting and you're not taking this thing seriously, I don't know what to tell you. See? Your children are going to die because your lack of faith, because your lack of spirituality in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, all right? There's nothing to look forward to if you're not part of this truth, man. You have no hope. Verse 59, thou as unhappy shalt come through the sea and receive plagues again. And in the passage they shall rush on the idol city, and shall destroy some portion of thy land, and consume part of thy glory, and shall return to Babylon that was destroyed. And thou shalt be cast down by them as stubble, and they shall be unto thee as fire, and shall consume thee, and thy cities, and thy land, and thy mountains, and thy woods, and thy fruitful trees shall they burn up with fire. Thy children shall they carry away captive, and look, what thou hast, they shall spoil it, and mar the beauty of thy face. Alright, so when this destruction comes, guess who's getting taken away into captivity, into slavery? It's going to be the elite. They'll be the first ones to go into slavery, because all these other people are going to die because they weren't able to hide in an underground bunker. But the wicked elite will be the first ones to go into slavery. Alright? They're going to be hunted down by the men who Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is going to give spiritual powers to. Alright? So let's get that real quick, and I'll close on that. Jeremiah 16:16, it says, behold, I will send for many fishers, saith Yahweh, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. Which right now the prophets are fishers. We're fishing for men, right? That's what Yahweh Shai said. You'll be a fisherman of men, right? So every time we cast out our pole, you know, or cast out our line. That's what I'm doing right now with this video. I'm casting out my line, being fishermen of men. Because men, so there's going to be certain men that'll see this video, and they'll be like, oh, this is the truth. Their spirit's going to be moved to the point where they're going to want to learn more and potentially prophesy. So we're fishers first, but then Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, he gives us spiritual powers according to the Bible. And in these last days. And we'll be, the phone had a chime on that, you see? We're going to get spiritual powers, and then we become hunters. It says here, they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. Why? Because we're going to hunt down those elite who are in those bunkers. See, they're going to try and hide, but we're going to find them with our spiritual power, and they go into slavery first, because their lives are going to be preserved from the destruction. Because why? Because they're in those underground bunkers. But they're still not safe, because Yahweh Hashem Yahushai put a great spiritual power on his men to seek them out and destroy them. Alright? So I'm going to go ahead and close out on that. I want to give all the praise and all the glory unto Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Ha-Rekah-Kwadash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. Also, I want to acknowledge all the Akim who are pushing this truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, and shalom to the elect.